What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today, there's a new word of the day. Yesterday, it was Pogba. Today, it's Di Maria. At least it is for now. What updates do we have for you? Could we have a here we go imminent with a player today? Stick with us. We'll talk about that as well as much more when it comes to the Mercado. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sandro. Today is Tuesday, May 17th, 2022, and of course I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news that you care about each and every day. Let's make sure though, before we get into it, that you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the community we have here, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Let's jump into it because we have a lot of news to break down, and we'll try to hit these as quickly as we can. The very first one though is the news about Di Maria. Could the Argentinian player join Juventus from PSG? Romeo Gresti reports says that Di Maria is getting closer to Juventus. Di Maria could earn around 7 million euros per season, and if it's a one-year dry deal with the club, they could not benefit from the decree. But as it stands right now, it seems that this could be the player that Juventus end up signing very first when it comes to the Mercado. We thought maybe we're getting teased a little bit with Pogba yesterday. We'll have an update about that here momentarily, but it could be Di Maria. Obviously, he's coming on off a free as well. We'll see if it's a one-year deal, if they could not benefit from the decree. Maybe we're looking at a 2-year deal then. We'll see how this develops going on. Stay tuned, especially if we have a live video later. We will have a here we go, and we will break down the player. But that's the latest update. It looks like Di Maria to Juventus could be imminent. All right, let's continue on though and talk about another player, Paul Pogba. I know a lot of people would love for his here we go potentially to be imminent, and we'll talk about his situation. Romeo Gresti reports saying that Juventus offered Pogba a 3-year deal at 7.5 million euros per season plus bonuses. Pogba's management is asking for 11 million euros per season. Pogba, however, is taking Juve's offer in serious consideration. Talks will continue, and a return is not just a dream anymore. It seems almost, and I dare to speak out of turn, but it seems almost that Pogba back to Juventus is more of a win rather than an if. But the one thing that Juve fans are going to have to look out for, if you are a fan of Pogba, if you are hoping, wishing, praying for a return, is to keep an eye out on PSG, though, and that monster deal that they could offer. I think they're easily able and willing to offer the 11 million euros per season. They could go over that. Will they money whip Pogba? Because, I mean, people can say you can't money whip a guy. Yes, you can. You absolutely can money whip a guy. If PSG go out there and throw, back the Brinks truck up to him, then yes, there's a possibility that he may choose that over his heart. We know that Paul Pogba's heart is with Juventus. He wants to come back to Juventus. But if Arriva Bene and Cherubini and all those involved are not willing to pony up enough money to get him, and I don't think Juventus should pony up, I don't think, maybe I'm at a spot where I don't know that they should pay 11 million euros. I think maybe 8 million plus some bonuses that get it to 10. I think that should be fair enough. Easy to achieve bonuses, especially given the situation of our midfield. I also don't know if you're a big time believer and you're a big time wanter of Paul Pogba to come back to Juventus, especially looking at the options we have here. I think Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is done. Yeah, he had that goal at the end of the game yesterday, but I think when it comes to any kind of deal with him, and because of the stuff with Lotito, I feel like I got a bad feeling about that will not happen, regardless of the situation. So even if Pogba's not, as well as, we could say that Pogba's plan A, but even if he is a plan B, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, I don't think plan B is existing anymore. We'll see, but I think Juventus need to make a move. I know that they'll probably go up a little bit from here, but how much are they willing to do to actually get this one solidified? And also, if it falls through, if he goes to PSG and you don't have Paul Pogba, what's that situation look like with the fans? How unhappy will they be, especially when they're stuck with the likes of Jorginho, Fratesi, Zaniolo? I'll be happy with Zaniolo, but you know what I mean. We'll see. Keep an eye on the situation. We'll have you updated as it develops. I don't think I'm done with Paul Pogba, though, yet. The next updated comment is from Nico Schiera, who says that there was a positive meeting between Juventus and Paul Pogba's agent. Bianconeri have offered a 3-year contract with a salary, he's saying, of 8 million euros a year, plus 2 million as bonuses. Hey, look at that! Look at the numbers that I came up with. That's perfect. That's exactly what Daddy Sofro is saying in here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Talks in progress. Juve will continue to work to convince the French midfielder, who has received a richer bid by PSG. So there you go. We'll see what happens, but that's the latest update when it comes to Pogba. Moving on, though, we have updates on other players, especially very important players. You don't want to lose a player like this in the Mercado, and that is, of course, Matthias Deflect. Given Raiola's passing recently, DiMarzio's reporting saying that, and this isn't really given, sorry, let me clarify. This is not given his passing. This is just things may have changed since his passing, because we know that Mino Raiola, the way he did business, was he tried to move players around. He tried to move them on, even when maybe they weren't ready or weren't wanting to move on. Case in point, Matthias Deflect is close to sign a new contract with Juventus from DiMarzio saying this. Advanced talks for deal extension until June of 2026. Negotiations now. Deflect's now prepared to stay at Juventus as Chiellini will leave the club in the next few days. So Chiellini's getting out of here. He's, relenting that spot as the leader of the defense to him. Yes, Bonucci, it appears, will be receiving the captain's armband. But that does not mean that the leader of the defense is not going to be Deflect. It's going to be him. He's going to be the main man that Juventus look to in all the important moments to come. And hopefully there are plenty of them for us Juventus fans. But that's some good news. This next news may not be so good depending on who you are. Me, not so good. For you all, maybe some of you like him. This is where I said. Gazzetta dello Sport's talking about Perisic, the Inter player, of course, and they're reporting saying that Juventus are in advanced stages to bring in Ivan Perisic. Juventus' offer for Perisic is a 2-year deal, plus an option at $6 million per season. There's a second part to this. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Giovanni Albanese is reporting saying that Perisic Juve, I think the Bianconeri will start working on it seriously from next week. I'll be honest, this one kind of perplexes me. It's a little bit confusing. I don't really understand the draw when it comes to Perisic. If it's me personally, thanks, no thanks. I don't know. I just don't think it's something that really excites me. For the future for Juventus, he's fine. Yeah, and do we have to just go after every player that scores goals and beats Juventus? Do we have to go after every player that beats Juventus? Is that what we're doing? We talked about Aouar before. We talked about, obviously we had Deflect. We have Ronaldo. We had Ronaldo. Is that what we're doing? Is that the situation? I don't know. He's a fine player, but he's 33 years old. I don't know that I would invest in. I understand Di Maria is older as well, but Di Maria I value a little bit more. I understand maybe not the best season last season, but I think there's plenty of talent there still, and I don't think he was getting the right opportunities and the right situations at PSG. That's my personal opinion. You may disagree with me on Perisic. That's where I stand. Thanks, no thanks. Let's move on. Talking about other players and their situation at Juventus, and maybe a little bit of the thanks but no thanks, but what's probably going to happen anyway, is Alfredo Padula giving us more negative information. He says that Juve have bought Moise Kean for around 38 million euros, so they're finalizing that deal, but they're working on exchanging him with PSG for Paredes. So I think the way it was going to work out is Juventus sell Moise Kean for 38. They traded for Paredes. I think they also get Paredes and another 8 million euros, probably around that much. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. I doubt it would be that. There would be some money there, I think, for Juventus, going Juventus' way. Anyway, the idea is to get Pogba plus Paredes or another Regista, obviously waiting for the Frenchman's yes. So first off, let's see what happens with Paul Pogba before we make the move for Paredes. I would hope they'd be doing that. I'm sorry. If you bring in Paredes and that's what you're trying to sell to Juventus fans, I think a lot of people would have a lot of problems, and I think you would do worse in the game of trying to get goodwill with the fans by bringing that player in first before getting a Paul Pogba or whoever it is the big splash to the Mercado. That's where I said. Let's continue on. Gazzetta dello Sport is talking about trying to replace Chiellini at Juventus. Juventus are looking for a defender to replace Chiellini. And from England, there are rumors that the Bianconeri have their sights set on Arsenal's central defender, Gabriel. He has made it clear that he wants to change the scenery. Not a lot to comment on here, just obviously more news coming out talking about the potential of Gabriel. We've talked about it here on the channel, maybe the weighing it in and out, see if it's possible. We do know one thing, we'll talk about him a little bit later. I guess we could mention it, but Artur's coming up in the news. Artur's situation, we know our Arsenal are definitely interested in Artur. if they can get him, maybe they can do some sort of a swap deal to end up bringing in Gabriel from Arsenal. So keep an eye on that. That could be an option that develops. Moving forward, though, we got to talk about another player that probably won't be staying with Juventus, and that is that of Alvaro Morata, who had he had a goal yesterday. I don't know what I was trying to sell there. I was going to give him some overarching, he did a fantastic game, a beautiful game. No, he had a goal. It was fine. Anyway, Gazzetta dello Sport talking about it, saying that Alvaro Morata's future is gradually taking shape. He could say goodbye to the Bianconeri colors. His transfer to Juve is looking unlikely. The 35 million euros that were originally agreed upon 2 years ago is too much, and with Juventus ready to make other choices for the future, they will go a separate way. So, Alvaro Morata, we bid you potentially adieu. We'll see what happens. Who will they get to potentially replace him? And here's another player that could be an option. I don't know if he'd really be replacing him. People talk about him replacing Paulo Dybala, who cried all over the stadium, was really sad, even though he definitely had an opportunity to sign an extension and didn't take it during the fall of last season. Hypothetically, he had an opportunity. Allegedly, he had an opportunity, so we'll see. Anyway, continuing on that, this is the player we're talking about. Carvajal had comments talking about Raspadori in a situation that seems almost destined to happen now, has a little bit more up in the air and questions surrounding it following this statement by Carnevale, with him saying Raspadori at Juve, he has enormous quality, but he is young and has to grow. He should arrive at a top club with more experience than he has now. If he is asked to play the role of Dybala's heir, he would have difficulties. He needs time. And to me, what this reads as a couple things. Maybe Juventus are going differently in the market this season. I think that would be a point that would be kind of disappointed, honestly, if you can get Raspadori and you don't bring him in. I think he's solid, and I think he's fine now. I don't think he needs the extra experience, to be honest. I don't think every player needs to have a ton of experience, Allegri. I think you can have some young guys who have talent who are good. I think Raspadori's young. I think he's got the talent. I think he also has enough experience to come to Juve. But I'm not really putting this on Allegri. I also would put this on Carnevale. And there's been a question that has arisen recently, just talking about their situation. They have a ton of players on the Mercado. Fratesi, Raspadori, Scamacca, Berardi, technically, potentially. So we'll see if that maybe that's what it is. Maybe they already know 2 or 3 of those guys are going out already, and they can't lose everybody, and you can't just start from square one with what they have left. We're gonna leave with Traore, and that's it. It'll be a difficult situation for them without some of those players. So we'll see. If Juventus really are serious about Raspadori, I think they'll probably have to make a move before some of those other players go. That's just me saying that, though, so take that with a grain of salt. All right. Then we get back to Arthur and his situation. Nico Schietta saying that Arthur Melo is not in Max Allegri's plans for next season. The Brazilian player can leave Juventus in the summer transfer window. A lot of people will be happy about that because obviously he just doesn't fit. And we've noticed that he doesn't seem to fit. Maybe his playing style can do better in the Premier League with Arsenal, potentially getting us Gabriel. We'll see. Keep an eye on that. Next up. No, I said next up. You go away. You go away, Arthur. We're trying to get rid of you. Don't you do this. Okay. Talking about players that won't go away. Here we go. Gazzetta dello Sport talking about Bernardeschi. But it seems that Juventus are going to say you will be going away and you have no choice. Last night's game could have also been Bernardeschi's last game for Juventus. Negotiations for a renewal never took off, so they haven't taken off. While the door had opened slightly, it was slightly ajar, it had potentially slammed right back in Bernardeschi's face. He might be done. I think I'll just speak for all of us right now. If that's true, and Bernardeschi has played his last game in Allianz Stadium, I'm disappointed. Disappointed that he didn't get the opportunity to do the lap of honor that Paulo Dybala got yesterday. I think he equally should have gotten. I think his and Dybala's performances are just right there, right? They're right there with each other. And Chiellini, obviously, when I think about Juventus football, I think Chiellini somewhere in there, Paulo Dybala, of course, and then I think Bernardeschi. And I think of all that he's accomplished, give him his ring of honor. Give him his lap of honor. Give it all to him. Let him have it. Come on, show this man the respect. All right, let's continue on. It's sarcasm, guys. I know there's going to be some of you that don't understand sarcasm. It was sarcasm. Okay, let's calm down. All right, next up, and we're getting near the end of it, but Nico Schietta talking about the future of one left back. Maybe not the left back you're wanting to hear, but of one left back, and that is that of Luca Pellegrini. He could potentially be moving to the Premier League, with West Ham have shown an interest in the player for Juventus left fullback Luca Pellegrini. I'm just repeating myself. So there's a door that's open. That's probably what happened with the Mino Raiola, sorry, rest in peace, with the Raiola entourage meeting for Pogba, that went on for 3+ hours. Arriva Bene said they never talked about Pogba. That's an absolute lie. But while they did definitely talk about Paul Pogba, don't let them lie to your face. They definitely talked about other players as well. Luca Pellegrini was definitely one of those, as well as Moise Kean, his future that we already covered earlier. Maybe the player you were hoping to hear me mention when I say left back for Juventus moving on is that of Alex Sandro. Well, when it comes to Alex Sandro, his situation is, from Giovanni Albanese, is that Alex Sandro will evaluate the proposals that arrive during this mercado. He has a contract until 2023 at 6 million euros per season. So if another team's not willing to pay 6 million euros per season for him, if they're not willing to make a move for him, Juve could be stuck losing out, or not when I say losing out on Pellegrini. I think Pellegrini is fine, but I don't think he's like a massive loss or anything. But at the same time, they could be losing out on Pellegrini and then be stuck with Alex Sandro moving into next season. Obviously, if you're moving Pellegrini, you're probably trying to bring somebody else in to come in for Juventus, hopefully to be playing ahead of Alex Sandro. Just like I hope that all these midfielders will be coming in playing ahead of Rabiot and not with Rabiot. Ahead of Rabiot. Rabiot, sit on the bench. Alex Sandro, take your spot on the bench, and then we'll see you next summer. Peace out, my dude. That's the situation as it stands right now. We'll see what happens. He's going to evaluate. Could he be another thorn in Juventus' side moving in to next season? We'll keep you updated. All right, that'll do it. That's all the news we have for you so far today. I say that because, it's Mercado season, guys. It's open up. People call it silly season, whatever. It's Mercado season. Get hype. Get ready to be excited. Get ready to be disappointed probably in some areas. But definitely, we're going to have you covered each and every step of the way. Make sure you're locked in to the Bianconeri Zone. Make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell icon, all those things. Make sure you're hitting it. Make sure you're being part of this channel. Join our community that we have here. If you haven't already, consider joining the member squad. You get a lot of cool benefits there. I talk about it each and every day. Won't cover it right now. But what I will say is definitely consider joining that squad. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're following Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter as well. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve. Forza Bianconeri. Please don't disappoint us in this Mercado.